What in the world was that?
I thought it was Annie Lennox. Why? Why? Why?
Oh, Miss Kelly, what are you doing today?
I'm just chilling. Yes, I did listen to the Dylan Mulvaney song.
Oh, it wasn't it something? Wasn't it something?
All I can say is why? Why?
We're gonna talk and gossip about Dylan in a few minutes. So right now, I'm gonna do my little disclaimer stuff. Y'all, we're here for people over the age of 18. We're not here to groom anybody. At our ages, we have enough trouble trying to groom ourselves. And hey, I'm doing a Say Something wig day. How y'all like this? I wanted to sort of match Kelly's haircut. I love Kelly's haircut. So y'all who have not already subscribed, you need to subscribe and click the little bell up there so you can get a notification every time we put up a new video. Because we got this thing going and we're going to keep doing it, y'all. So, yeah. So I'm here in my cousin's sunroom. I spent the night with her last night, and I forgot to even bring a ring light or a tripod. So I'm going to have to set my phone up here. Okay, there we go.
You look fantastic.
Thank you. You do too, darling.
Thank you.
So, I tell you about Dylan. I do think that you're the one that sent me over to see Dylan the first time I discovered Dylan. He had put up a thing about normalizing the bulge. And I tell you, I knew that right then and there that was not a transgender person, because a transgender person does not want to bring attention to that. So I knew then. And then when I went back and watched the earlier videos, I said, this is a fool, a pure fool. We thought it was a parody. It couldn't be real.
I did. I thought it was a parody.
Yeah. So how could he get all those followers other than people following just to see what he would do? Not that they really approved of what he was doing, but they were just wanting to see what he would do next.
Train wreck. You just
Yeah,
can't take
yeah.
your eyes on.
Oh my goodness. So what's going on with this song he's put out?
He seems to be covering all the stereotypes, the bad stereotypes of women. He's basically just putting women down,
Mm.
which is what he's about. I said he because that's what I feel.
Mhm. A almost 30-year-old man, even if they were transgender, would not be acting like a silly 10-year-old up there making fun of women. And as a transsexual, we're embarrassed that he is representing us.
I'm
Another
glad my
reason,
mum. I'm
another
glad my
reason.
mum's not alive to see this.
No. Now, my mom, she would say, "Why are you even watching that stuff? You know, get over here and bake a cake or something." But why? That's why. He doesn't represent anybody within the transgender community, and that's another reason that transsexuals need to distance themselves from the transgender movement, because
Yeah,
they have so much under that umbrella now. It's too much, and we're not anything like those people. So,
it's a wide spectrum of people. Weird and wonderful people. Such a
mhm.
wide spectrum of people, and I tend to think most of them are not transsexual or leaning anything in that direction.
No, no. It's for the heterosexual ones that start off as heterosexual. It's a what is autogynephilia, a thing that they're
Mm.
they're obsessed with the vagina and the women's bodies. They want to emulate women, but they don't want to actually be women. That's the reason a lot of those do not have bottom surgery
Mm.
because they want to be able to use that part. And then you've got the ones that are homosexual that are basically drag queens. They don't aim to have surgery either because they're still using that. And they love the idea that these men are going crazy for those girls with that extra part.
Well, they've discovered it opens them up to another field of men by dressing up.
hmm You know, people are making fun of Dylan. When you get the straight commentators making fun, they have no idea what's really going on. They're saying, well, Dylan, he couldn't find anybody that would have anything to do with him. They have no idea how many freaks are out there that love that extra part down there. They don't know. They have no idea. I imagine he has more lovers than he ever had in his whole queer life.
A lot of the ones defending him will be the ones that are into that kind of thing.
hmm hmm
A lot of the chasers.
That's right. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but eventually people are going to get sick of it. I mean, it's kind of fun, I guess, watching this train wreck, but eventually people are going to say, we're sick of this now. If you can't do something else, if you can't, bark like a dog or something, we don't want to watch you anymore because it's just a mess. And I think that's one of the reasons that so many people are following him, not because they approve of it, not because they support it, but they just want to see what the hell he'll do next. His entertainment. So people need to stop following him and just ignore him so he'll go away. And I'm sorry if I call him he, if that offends the transgender people. I'm sorry. Sometimes I call him she because sometimes I call drag queens she, and I don't think he's any more than a drag queen.
I agree with you.
Mm,
I don't go looking for his content. It was because the song had come out. I wanted to know how many more insults is he throwing at women.
mm,
How bad is he making the transsexuals and the trans community look this
mm,
time?
mm,
That's the only reason I went to view it.
mm. When I saw the video, I'm hard of hearing, and if I'm not using my earbuds, I really can't make out a lot of stuff. So I saw it first and I thought, well, if this was where people came in on Dylan, this is pretty good. He looked good. The video was filmed good. I liked the sound of the music, but when I
Auto
went
tuned.
but the tune, yeah, but whenever I went back and read the words, I was so offended. I was offended that he was representing us as transsexuals, and I was upset that he was being so rude to females, natural born females. I mean, really, a almost 30-year-old man saying those kind of words about girlhood? Yeah, really.
If someone from the trans community doesn't have a woman's back, then question how genuine they actually are.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
we have women's back. We're
mhm.
there for women. We wouldn't do anything like this.
No, no, never, never. We loved women. We loved, being around women because we felt like we were women. We really felt like we were women, and we had respect for them.
We wouldn't go out of his way to offend.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, I wish the Turks would really campaign against Dylan big time, and I hope he has some security because the worse he gets, there's gonna be crazy people out there that's gonna try to do something. You know how people are. I'm not advocating that, of course.
Yeah.
I wish he would just, straighten up, but you got crazy people out there. You know.
I think this will continue. He's an attentioner and he's probably taking money to the bank with this.
Mhm.
He's tried umpteen different ways to get well known. He's 15 minutes worth of fame and he's failed badly. And he's not even doing this good, is he?
You know, whenever he went to that college recently and spoke, charging $40,000
And
and
I didn't see it.
had about 20 people show up. Wasn't many. And a commentator went out and interviewed people on the campus, and most of those young people didn't even know who Dylan Mulvaney was. And some of them looked like punk rockers, looked like, people that would have had known who Dylan was, and they had no idea who Dylan Mulvaney was.
I mentioned Dylan to someone today and they didn't have a clue who Dylan was. I mentioned it to someone last week and they were defensive, but they didn't even know. They were defensive because they've got the back of trans people. And I said to them, you need to go look who you're being defensive for. And they came back and went, this is ridiculous. I said, yeah. Yeah, you were straight there to the defence. So if they're part of the trans community, I stand by them. When they went and watched the videos, they came back and they went, this is awful. I said, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I can't believe Lady Gaga has watched what Dylan's done and still supported him. I can't understand it. You can support somebody for whatever they do, but if they're doing wrong, you have to say this is wrong.
It's not like Lady Gaga needs publicity.
Mm-mm. No, so
I
I
hope
don't
it backfires
understand.
on her. I hope it backfires on her.
Mhm. Well, I never was a really big Lady Gaga. I always used to call her Lady Gag Gag, but, some of her music I like, but I think she's kinda like Dylan, she's out there, you know?
Yeah, and most of what she does is to get attention.
Wanting
It's
attention,
time to
yeah.
follow in the steps of Madonna.
Oh,
Madonna needs to stop now.
Madonna needs to either retire or learn how to be a classy older woman, you know? She really does. I mean, Cher can still do it, but Cher does not act like Madonna. And of course, Cher looks better than Madonna, and Cher's way older than Madonna. So, yeah,
Cher's in a totally different category, different
mm,
bracket.
Cher's
Totally.
class. Cher's class. Yeah, but Dylan is not. Absolutely not. Did you see the video he put up? That this was long before he started this transition thing, where he was dressed in some kind of like a Boy Scout outfit, going through a national park out west, and the buffalo came up and was looking in his window. I saw that and I thought, Lord, I can't believe you got this kind of stuff up, and then you pretending to be a woman. You know, I would have deleted all that kind of stuff. To brag on all this stuff that you did in the past as if it's supposed to be important. When I transitioned, I got rid of everything. I'm lucky to have any before pictures that somebody had hid, because I went into people's houses and took the pictures down and burned them. I did not want any of that stuff over my head.
I ended up in a children's home, and what children's homes do is they do group photographs. But
Mhm,
there's a reason behind this. All the
mhm,
photographs they take, if you abscond, they've got a recent picture to give to the police. And I would take all my pictures down off the notice board and I taped them to the underside of the kitchen table. And I went back 3 years later and I got the pictures from under the table because I didn't want nobody discovering them. I actually went back. A couple of the cleaners remembered me when I said who I was. And they said, oh, it's nice of you to come back. Oh, if you come to say yes, I've just come to retrieve something really important.
mhm, mhm,
And I'm there looking under the table. What are you doing?
mhm.
I stuck all my photographs here. They weren't having a photograph of me if I absconded.
Well, nowadays that they trying to get it where you don't have to have gender dysphoria to even be considered trans. You can just want to try it on. Hey, I don't have gender
Even,
dysphoria. I'm okay with being this, but hey, I'm gonna try this on for a while. and you got to consider me just as much woman as you are. No,
Even
no.
even to get the gender recognition certificate in the UK now, you don't have to have gender dysphoria. You do have to prove that you've been living in female role for a number of years, but you don't
Mm,
have to have gender dysphoria. That it makes
mm.
no sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense to me either because if you're not having a problem with your physical body, then why would you transition? If why? I don't understand that.
There's no transition happening. It's just dressing up.
Does that mean you just failed at being this and you want to see if you can do better with this? I don't know, but most of these heterosexual men who transition, they were successful as men, successful enough to
Mm.
have jobs and careers and wives and families, and then they decide after the junk don't work anymore. I might as well change it around because I've always liked this. It's always been fun for me to dress up. So now I'm going to just change over. And they're gonna say that we're all the same when we're not. We could not live that life. We could not. We had to do something to go on with our lives, and that's what we did.
And we didn't want attention. We wanted to go
Mm,
about unnoticed.
mhm. And there'll be people that say, "Well, you want attention now." No, we don't want attention now. We're putting attention to the situation, and we wouldn't have done this when we were young people. No, we'd be out living
We're
our
making a
lives.
sacrifice. We're making a
Mhm,
sacrifice to speak up.
mhm,
I wouldn't have spoke up if my partner hadn't have passed away. I
mhm,
spent 31 years with my partner. And then about 5 years after his death, I was still struggling with the loss. And I went to look online for a post-op transsexual support group, and there isn't one.
mhm,
But what I did find disgusted and annoyed me. And that's why
mhm,
I'm speaking up.
mhm, mhm.
I'm older now. I'm nearly 60. I'm 60 this year.
Ooh, girl, that's a milestone. I'm pushing 70. Maybe I can come over there and celebrate with you when I turn 70.
And maybe I can come over when I'm 60.
We'll go to New Orleans, paint the town.
But we've been friends for 25 years and we still haven't got around to meeting in person.
I know, I know. We're gonna do this though. We are. But we're both just so homebody kind of people, you know? We just
Mm.
like to, stay around and do our thing and, I used to travel a good bit when I was in my 40s. That was my best part of my life was in my 40s because I was old enough not to be scared anymore about doing things, and I thought, "Well, now's the time," because, you're still able to move and go, and I traveled a lot when I was in my 40s. Now I better do a little bit more before I'm able to not have to wear a cane or something.
Yeah, I travelled when I was younger. I stopped my travelling when I was 46.
Mhm.
I've not left the UK since I was 46.
But you are got a trip planned, don't you? Where are you going?
We're thinking about going to Holland
That will
for my
be fun.
60th. For my
That
60th,
that will
with
be that will be fun.
a group of about 10 or 12 of us.
Oh,
It's not too far to go, and it's just going to be like
uh,
a long weekend for my
yeah,
birthday.
uh-huh. That'd be
And these are
great.
online friends that I haven't met, but I've been friends with for a long time.
Uh-huh. Local, or are they already in Holland?
It's someone from Ireland, a couple of people from the UK, a couple of people from America.
That's fabulous.
Uh,
That's fabulous.
one of the girls is in Amsterdam as well. So
Mm,
it's going to be about 10 or 12 of us.
that's gonna be great. We want lots of pictures and video and stuff. That's Amsterdam, isn't it?
Yeah,
Amsterdam, is that it?
we all hung out in the same pal room.
Okay. So back to Dylan, the topic of today. So what do you think he's gonna do next?
Something that's going to shock people, because that is
Mm,
the aim of Dylan.
Now, it shocked me when I saw him doing, supposedly doing a hormone shot to teach these kids how to give their own shots. But he turned around.
Why would you even do that? That's a medical thing.
I don't know. I don't know. But if you're worried about people thinking you're grooming, and then you show them how to do something, and he was turned around, so you really couldn't see if he give himself a shot or not. Because I don't think he's even on hormones. I've not seen any softening of the
No
features other than
changes.
the surgery, and then I've never seen any real hormone development. And he's never talked about having any kind of implants or anything put in. I think he's just biding his time, and whenever this all runs out, he'll go back to being himself, a gay man.
No attempt at facial hair removal.
Mhm. But I know
the commitment's not there.
Mhm, mhm. But I feel towards him like he's a drag queen, and I like to watch drag queens, but they're just pretending to be women. We know they're pretending to be women. It's an act, and I enjoy entertainment. But I don't enjoy them pretending to be something they're not, like, saying, "I am a woman, I am a trans person," when I know they're not. Now, I have lived with drag queens, so I know how they act. When I first left home, I moved in with some drag queens for about 6 months, and I got the hell out of there as soon as I could because them was some people to live with, let me tell you. So, yeah, I moved in with the transsexual girl, but they're just like Dylan, so I know how they are. You get some that are just as silly as that, but I've really never seen one that act quite as immature and little girl acting as Dylan acts. And if the person is really a transgender, they're a mentally ill transgender person that needs some
Dylan's
psychological
an
counseling.
insult to little girls. Dylan's an insult to little girls as well as women.
That's what it's a mess, y'all. It's a mess.
This is Dylan's moneymaker. Dylan has made no end of attempts of getting well known. That's all it is.
That is all he's doing, and I believe that somebody is behind it. Like you were talking a while ago before we started, somebody is behind this. Somebody
Wouldn't it surprise me if Dylan turns up to these venues
Mhm.
and then gets changed into being the female role? Yeah? If this is just a part-time thing, it's a job.
It is. It is. I believe somebody backed him to get all that. Something he had to do something to get as well known as he did, as fast as he did. There was something going on there. There was something behind that. They was somebody higher up that were trying to get this going.
Promote and push him.
Mhm. And I think it may have had something to do with politics because he went straight to the White House to meet the president instead of a real trans person
How
that
embarrassing.
that had something to do with what's going on in the world. Going to the White House, they picked Dylan. Now, what was the reason behind that? I have no idea. Did the president not even watch any of those videos that he had put up before he come in there and
I
talk
say
to
to
Dylan?
make Biden look bad, but Biden does a
It
good
it
job of that himself.
it really did. It really made him look bad, you know? What do y'all think? People that are listening to this, what do y'all think about this? Let's
Yeah, we need people to put in the comments what they
Yeah,
think about this.
we need people rallying behind all this to let people know that we're saying no. We're saying no for this bullshit.
And we need other transsexuals, the ones that have gone stealth. Even if you just put it in the comments,
Mhm.
put
That's
your
right.
view forward. Let other people know that there's folk out there that don't behave like this.
Mhm. Because it all reflects on us. Because the people that are paying attention are thinking that we're all the same. That maybe when we're not live or we're not out there, then we're acting like Dylan. No, we don't. We don't, because you can't even, most of us, you can't even spot us on the street because we're just out there living our lives, acting like normal people. Maybe acting a little bit shyer than the average woman instead of out there like that. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, we don't want attention. We just want to mingle and not be seen.
That's
Blend,
right.
not blend, and not offend.
That's right. You know,
Dylan's all about offending.
when I first came to YouTube, I did comedy character videos for 10 years, and nobody ever knew I was transgender. I never said anything about it until the COVID struck, and I thought, well, I want to tell everybody my life story. And that's when I came out because I was already 65 years old. What did I need to hide? I was divorced. I don't plan to ever marry again. So I could just tell my story. But I still don't think I'm even ready to write a book because there's some things that I would be afraid that my family would read, you know? So would not get out there and do that kind of stuff. So I can't understand a person that claims to be transgender that would get out there and make a pure fool out of themselves and make a fool out of all transgender people. And there'll be transgender people that'll follow this. And if you're one like Dylan, then I'm talking about you too. Mhm. If you support Dylan, then you're just like him.
We're doing this now, and there's a chance that maybe family or friends of my family will see this.
Hmm.
But I think it's important to speak out.
It is. It's important for people to say, we don't like this. It's not who we are.
Dylan doesn't represent us.
Mm,
And a lot who are
absolutely.
following Dylan, a lot of them, nobody identifies as a transvestite anymore. Nobody identifies as a cross-dresser anymore. They're all
No.
lumped under this term transgender, so they just say we're transgender.
And people can't even, they just have to say LGBT plus because there's 100,000 things up underneath it. Anything that's weird or odd goes under transgender. Even if you're not transitioning to anything, you're transgender.
Isn't that the whole point of the term transgender being coined? I think that's what it was all about. So all the weird and wonderful people could be included.
Hmm.
And that's why they're trying to rewrite the rules. Yeah?
That's right. Now,
Female bulge. No, there is no female bulge.
mhm.
Yeah? They're trying to rewrite the
Normalizing the
rules.
bulge.
Yeah.
Normalizing the bulge. God almighty. And I went back and watched some more of those early videos and him running around out through the woods, falling down and acting just so stupid.
I tell you how strong I felt about down there before the surgery. I didn't even let my surgeon see what he had to work with. I said, no, you can look once I'm out cold. You've plenty to work with. Don't worry about it. You're not seeing what's down there until I'm out cold.
I know I was so embarrassed that the night before my surgery, the orderly had to come in and prep me and shave me and get all that stuff ready down there. And I was there with a pillow over my head. And the girl
I would
said,
have died. I would
the
have
girl
died.
said, the girl said, well, tomorrow you'll never have to worry about that again. And I said, thank God. And I've been just as excited about that 50 years later as I was that day. So that's the difference in us and these trans testicle people.
I remember that I had mine done in a private hospital, and I remember the cleaner a couple of days later asking what I'd had
Mhm,
done.
mhm.
And I went, oh, I've had a penoctomy. She went, oh, my mother-in-law had that done. I almost died laughing.
You know, with all these people that detransition and they want to blame everybody but themselves.
It's because they've
What,
jumped
what?
on the bandwagon to give it a go. They didn't even need to go that route in the first place.
No, no. Now they were just trying to follow something. They were missing something in their life, and they thought maybe that's it. Well, I think you would know for sure before you had your boobs cut off or have your thing inverted. I think you would know that before you did that. that it was wrong. And then you see these ones that they look so masculine after they do transition, more masculine than they ever looked before they transition. And the female to males, they'll try to have all these wigs and hair and makeup. And I'm thinking, if you like to be that feminine before, why come you transitioned? If you weren't a tomboy and really felt like you were a man, why did you transition? Their responsibility falls on them. Now, I understand maybe that the clinics were trying to start being more progressive and helping people, maybe too readily. Maybe they were falling into this thing a little bit too much, because now they can, self-diagnose themselves. If I say I'm this, I'm this. No, we had to go to psychiatrists.
That's self-diagnosed.
Mhm. We had to be diagnosed. We had to say, doctors say, this is what you need to do. Now, my first psychiatrist, I went to him 6 months, paid him. Now, that was hard money to pay a psychiatrist, 6 months worth of visits. And then at the end of it, they say, well, I can't sign this paper because even though I think you're a woman in your mind, I don't want to be responsible for something that may in the future ruin your life.
Mhm.
So I had to find another doctor, and he luckily had studied transsexualism in his schooling and had met Christine Jorgensen. So he found another person to help me, because I had to have 2 psychiatrist evaluations before they would do surgery back then. They just didn't do anything back then without doctors saying this is what was best for you. And I agree that this surgery is not for everybody. It's not. Very rarely is it for anybody. But for the ones that it is, it's a good thing.
It's there for those who cannot live their life any other way,
Mhm. Mhm.
and only for those people.
Mhm. That's right. Because I know I get up every day, and when I take my shower, I say, "I thank God I have this." 'Cause I love it. Whether I never have sex again, whether I never get married again, this is who I am, just like anybody else. And I know I'm not genetically born, and that kinda pisses me off. That's one of the things I regret, is not being born this way. That's the only thing I regret, and I'll always regret that. But it is what it is. You have to go on with whatever you can do with your life now. If
Our
you make it.
aims were different back then. We
Mhm.
wanted rid of what was there, hopefully replace it with something that resembles a vagina, and if it works, that's a bonus. The
Mhm.
most important thing was to get rid of what was there.
Yes.
Everything else was
Yes.
just a bonus.
Yes. We knew. The doctors told us back then that there is a chance that you won't feel anything down there, because, this is surgery and we're reattaching nerves. So it is a bonus if it works good. And mine worked good, so I was fine with that. So I was lucky, and you were lucky.
It took 6 months for things to feel right with mine.
Mhm.
Um, there was this period of time where I
Mm.
was healed enough to resume a sex life,
Mhm.
and it didn't feel right at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know if it's because the nerves hadn't finished knitting together or not, but it didn't feel right.
Mhm.
But it took 6 months, and then everything felt right.
I think it was about 2 years before I actually had orgasm, though, and it didn't feel real great at first. Of course, I realized that, and it wasn't till I came up with a good, lover that could send me over the top, and I knew what it took. So, mm,
I did speak to my friend who's an anaesthetist, because I, when I've had surgeries down there, I've been orgasming whilst I was healing.
mhm,
And she said it's down to one of the medications the anaesthetist gives you
mhm,
that can happen.
mhm,
So I knew from day one that the ability to orgasm was still there, because I was orgasming whilst I was still in the hospital healing.
mhm, mhm,
And it was painful to go through,
Mhm.
And like I said, I didn't figure out why until I spoke to my friend who was an anaesthetist, and she explained there's a certain drug that they give you that can do that.
Mhm. I'm wondering how long it's gonna take for Dylan to actually start detransitioning. I think he's gonna wait until he gets his name out there so much that, he thinks he'll be some kind of a celebrity afterwards. And
I'm
I hope
wondering,
it's Go ahead.
I'm wondering if Dylan's detransition is each time the camera's turned off.
I
That
bet, I
timeline.
bet it will, and he'll do all those boohoo videos and shit. I hope he doesn't get breast implants and bottom surgery before and I don't think he will. I don't think he has any intentions for any of that. He knows. He knows exactly what he's
It's a
doing.
business. I think it's a business venture. That's it. It's a business venture.
Mhm. It is. It is a business venture. I've watched those videos when he went to Peru and all those places. I've watched it just to know what he was doing. And that's the reason I think most people follow him, just to see what he's gonna get into.
I mean, we're doing this now. There's no money going to be involved in this. We're just
No.
wanting our views to be put forward, and that is enough satisfaction. Sharing
Mhm.
our views.
Right. We have no intentions of ever making any money off this. We are old. We have our lives. We have our own incomes. We don't need this. We're out here just to inform people what is going on and trying to help the future generations of transsexuals make sure they don't get sucked into that. They can't waste their lives being sucked into anything like this transgender movement.
They, they get brainwashed. Getting brainwashed into and feeling like they're entitled,
Hmm.
and the crazy demands.
I know.
If they put as much effort into the transition and living their life as what they do trying to upset the rest of the world and get the rest of the world to accept them, they do well.
Hmm. That is right. So,
That song was so bad. It was just so bad. All the stereotypes that were
mhm,
in that song, that stereotypes of women putting women down,
mhm,
you
yeah,
should be ashamed.
he really should. And those words, can you pull up those words and read those words to that song that were so offensive?
I'm not sure if I could pull the words up, but um, I can maybe cover some of the thing. Popping pills, like trying to make out all women are popping pills and into retail therapy.
Walk of shame.
What? Yeah, they're basically trying to make out that women are sluts. That's what I took from that one.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't remember who you slept with. No, no.
You know,
That's not that's more like a gay man thing, not remembering who they
it
slept
is.
with.
It is. That's something like I was thinking earlier that that's how drag queens sit around and act. I know because I lived with them. That's the way they act. Not a transgender person and not a woman for sure. Now I know that even though it's stereotypical, they are some women and some trans people who have done all those things at some
Yeah,
point.
I'm sure there
At
are
some
some that will
point,
flirt for
you know,
drinks and things like that.
but they would not bring it to everybody's attention. That's kind of something they're going to hide a little bit, and it's not going to be an everyday thing. And not a lot of women will never experience any of those things. So it was offensive. Now, I'm just kind of wondering what he's going to get into next. We're going to see this train wreck as it derails. But if he is really trans, I wish he would listen to this kind of video and learn how to tone it down and learn how to act like a woman acts.
I
Now,
think this is all an act. I don't think
no,
that there's any
no,
gender dysphoria going on at
no,
all. There isn't. Normalise the bulge. There's no dysphoria.
no,
This is just an act.
no,
It's a
no,
game. It's
no,
a business.
no. He's nothing more than a drag queen. He's homosexual and He likes to dress up. And as far as being a drag queen, he's cute, especially after the FFS. And people on the right wing, conservative, mostly men, will report that, Dylan, all this searching, he couldn't get a date. Nobody would have anything to do with him, but they have no idea how low a lot of men are. They have no idea how many men out there that love that something extra. They love that. So you don't need to think because he's, what he is, that they won't be somebody that would, a lot of bodies, that would want to be with him. But especially with the money he's making now, of course, he's probably got somebody right now. So you don't need to make fun of him over that. Make fun of him over what he's actually doing. That's what you need to make fun of him.
I think just pointing out that this is so not the behaviour of a transsexual or someone with gender dysphoria.
No.
And make it clear that we don't think this person is treating women right. The things they're saying and things they're doing, we're offended by it as well.
Absolutely.
It's making a mockery of women and making us look bad.
Yeah, it is. It's awful. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just like,
I think you're right, though. There will be videos when the detransition comes around.
it's just dumbfounded me, and I'm dumb anyway, I'm Asperger's, and I don't go all the way up, but I go up far enough to know what he's doing. I'm real simple, so you got to be simple, and he's so complicated.
I tell you, it's a business move. That's all it is. It's a business move.
It is. I wonder how long he thought it out before he started it, because it was planned out. All those first videos, I mean, he had a cameraman the whole time. There was somebody following him around filming it, so it was all planned. I don't even know if he's smart enough to plan that out. There's probably somebody else.
No, I think there's other people behind the scenes.
I believe all that stuff will come out one day. It'll all come out whenever he gets. There's going to be somebody to get mad at him, and they're going to spill all them beans, because they always do. They always do. There'll be somebody to say, "Well, you want to know the tea on Dylan? I'll tell you."
Somebody turning up with a video showing Dylan travelling from A to B and then getting changed into the character.
Maybe somebody will make some movies and want some freak to be in them. So maybe it could do some John Waters films like Divine, and that would maybe work.
Yeah, and Divine didn't appreciate his audience either.
No. Well, I don't know.
The thing I most want to stress is this is not the behaviour of a transsexual. This is not the behaviour of someone with gender dysphoria.
No.
We wouldn't ever dream of being so offensive to women.
No. Now, in my life, women have been my rock, my support. They've been the ones that stood behind me, that have always said, "You should have been born this way because this is who you are." I didn't make them uncomfortable. No.
I'm still in touch with some girls that I went to school with,
Mhm.
and I'm sure they'll come and leave comments on this.
Mhm.
I'm very protective towards them.
Mhm. Now, I tell you, on my Facebook, I've got friends that I went to school with, people from, like, the 1st grade on up, family friends, people I grew up with and played with, that all say, "I should have always been this way," because they knew it was something different, They knew it, because I always was playing dress up, and I always had to be the mama. They knew it. Anybody in my family, they all knew it. It wasn't something that just happened when I was 28, 29 years old, like Dylan.
When we did shops at the infant school, they would say that they wanted me to be the male shopkeeper, and I go, no, I will play Big Sister Jill, and if I can't do that, then I'll be the dog. There was no way I'm playing a male role.
No.
Rather be the dog,
The dog.
the shopkeeper's dog.
Oh, I would have probably done the same thing, but I was always the mama. Even when I was playing with my boy cousins, I was the mom. And if we had any clothes to put on, I had one of my grandma's dresses. Oh, well, I hope something happens pretty fast with this Dylan thing because I don't got that many more years to waste on him.
I only went looking because I knew the song had come out, otherwise I wouldn't have bothered.
Mhm.
And I was more interested in what are the words, how much
Mhm.
more is he going to be putting women down?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And all transsexuals feel that same way, whether they're male to female or female to male. They all feel that way. They just want to slip in the back door. We want to slip in the back door so that we just fit right in. We don't want to be, hey, look at us. No, we want to just kind of, well, you don't pay attention to us and, you know, we're doing our thing. Yeah. Now, it's not to say that, you know, I'm not theatrical. That's not to say that I don't like drama and you know, theater and all that, because I do. But I want to do it as a female, not as a trans something or another, you know. Now, if he had transitioned and then wanted to do something, like I said, if he had come in on this video that he just did, maybe it would be more acceptable. But to come in like he did and all that days of girlhood stuff, and then to climax it with this video, no, no, no. We'll never accept that. No, there's no way he can erase that from our minds. Even if he deletes it all, he can never delete that from our minds.
For me, Dylan's an embarrassment.
Mhm. I wonder how his family feel about that. I've not heard anything about family. Have you?
No, I've not heard nothing.
Mm, I don't know. Um, Let me do some research on that just because I'm nosy. When you gossip, you got to gossip with details. Now, I'm from the South where women gossip. Yeah, I grew up hating people that gossip because my mama and all my aunts and my grandmother, they were all gossiping all the time. And I said, y'all be ashamed of yourself. But that's just the way women are now. They like to talk because they're not out being all this bad stuff. They just want to talk about somebody else doing it. Uh, so I do gossip in my old age, but when I was young, I just frowned upon it. Because I'm not out doing too much these days.
I think YouTube promotes the ones that are the most outrageous.
Do what?
I think YouTube promotes the ones that were the most outrageous, the most
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
the ones that are going to get the most views.
YouTube and TikTok. Now, where he got famous was on TikTok. And I'm kind of hoping TikTok gets took down. Even though I do TikTok, I don't care that much for TikTok. Uh, I didn't get all that kind of attention. I'm too old to get attention on TikTok. But I think they need to take that down because they don't monitor any of that stuff. None of it. They maybe do a little bit more now than they used to, but that's how this got started. Because if they had been monitoring that, they would have surely took that kind of stuff down from the beginning.
Vaping's more important to them. Stopping a stream because someone's vaping.
Mm-hmm. I know. I was doing a video not long ago
And
where I was talking about uh, a video that was taken down, and I was saying that here we stand up here talking about our lives as if we are naked, showing a non-existent penis, and they blocked that video because it was pornography because of me saying the word penis.
you should use the word bulge.
But he could use all that. But I think they've maybe cracked down a little bit more than what
What
they
about when it,
used to. Yeah. But like I said, I hope they take TikTok down because it has done a lot. I've done a lot. Now, I've noticed that all these transgender people have their lives and their videos, and the first thing at the top of this say, "Trans women are real women," and I go in there every time, and I get kicked out because I say, "Trans women are trans women. They're not just women," and they don't like that. They can't live with that. They cannot live
There's,
with it.
there's so much that we will never experience that women experience.
No.
And there's so
We
much that we experience that they won't experience.
we still want to be women. We still wish we were women. We still wish we had been born as women, but we have enough sense to know that we're not. We're as close as you can get, but we're not. You know, and I accept that.
Doing
Yeah,
what we've done, the surgeries we've had, the things we've done in our lives is just so that we can live our lives happier
yeah,
and
right.
not trying to force the rest of the world to change around
hmm
us.
hmm You know, transsexuals have been treated rather badly in the past. The way they treated Caroline Costy and the way they treated Lady April Ashley and outed them and made them feel like they were freaks. And that was bad. Things have changed a whole lot in that regards. But they'll still, just like that wife of the French president who is a post-op transsexual. Well, that was 50 or 60 years ago. But now they want to bring out she's a man. Now, I don't agree with that kind of stuff. She has been a legal female for 50 years. She's had surgery, she's everything. You could just leave her alone. Or you could say she is a transsexual, but to say
Mhm.
he is a man. This president is married to a man. I don't agree with that kind of stuff now, really, because she's earned respect.
Yeah, I had a friend who left the UK after the surgery, and she married someone very important in France to do with the government. I won't say what position they had. And when he passed away, in his will, he'd put that she was transsexual because he wanted to make sure she got everything, when he passed away. And when her family found out,
They
she
didn't give her
left
anything.
France. She left France with nothing. She were glad to go. They were treating her that badly. She said, "You can keep the house, the Gucci bags, everything. I'm just going."
Mm-hmm.
She'd lost the most important thing to her. It was her husband. And they couldn't understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you've lived your life and built your life with somebody for a number of years, you're their spouse, regardless, and you deserve everything that they leave. Now, that's not fair. That's not fair. 'Cause that's one thing I agree with.
But she didn't want them. She didn't want them outing her because she had worked in modelling.
Mhm,
Nobody ever knew she was transsexual,
mhm,
and she left everything behind, so they didn't out her. She come
mhm.
back to the UK.
Well, maybe if he hadn't have put it in his will that she was transsexual, then she could have skipped right through it.
Done it thinking of her future, that he wanted them all to know that he knew and that he still wanted her to have everything should he pass away.
Mhm,
But his family were just greedy.
mhm. Well, in those kind of cases, they need to make sure the will states either or. Now, that's the way it is in the United States. if you've got it on the will or the title, either or, it automatically goes to that person that's either or. But if you don't put that, then it goes into probate as an inheritance, and they can fight it then. But either or means you already own it. So,
I'm going back to the 80s when her husband passed away.
so
Like I said, she'd lost the most important thing in her life. It was her husband. It wasn't the goods. It wasn't the house. It wasn't the wealth.
mhm.
And she even said to me, it's easy for me to turn my back on this and just go back to the UK. I've lost the important thing. None of this mattered to me. And his
Okay,
family got what they wanted.
Mhm. Are you getting excited about your upcoming wedding?
I'm not sure I'm going to get married. I'm gonna
What's
we're
going
gonna go on.
on?
I never married Kevin, did I? I just legally took on his name. I'm not sure I'm gonna get married.
Well, Ian loves you, and you love Ian.
Does it mean to say we have to get married?
No, you don't have to. No, I don't plan to ever marry again, but I'm a different, bolt of cloth from you.
We're there for each other, and that's the important thing.
Mm,
We both know how we feel about each other. We don't need
yeah,
it written down on a piece of paper.
I know, but some people feel they need that, and since he is a marrying kind of guy, he may feel like he needs that. So it just depends on what he needs. But if you're fine with just what you're doing, then hey, just do whatever is good for you. That's what I say. I'm not saying I won't live with another man because I've lived with men that I wasn't married to. I'm not above that, but I'm
I'm
not
too
gonna.
old. I'm too old to do the living together thing. Things are just nice just as they are. I'm too old for that now.
Oh, I'm hard to change my ways too. And just the thought after all these years having to put up with somebody, and as you get older, you're going to have all these medical issues and stuff. No. I took care of my mother for 12 years, and I've taken care of other people, and I'm just tired. I just want to take care of myself. Now, if there's somebody out there that wants to take care of me, I will let you. But but
Oh,
I
I'd
don't.
take care of him and he would take care of me. I just don't want to live together.
Well, eventually you would have to if something happens to one of you, you know.
Put us both in the same old people's home.
That's one thing my
Sneak in
ex-husband used
between rooms in the middle of the night.
that's one thing my ex-husband used to tell me when we were still in love. He said, "When it comes to the day you have to go to a nursing home," he said, "I'm gonna go in there and share the room with you." I've got a video of he saying that. Oh my goodness.
It's more like being companions for us. Ideally, we'd both rather be with those partners who've passed away. You know,
I know.
we're,
Yeah,
se-
of course.
we're second best to each other, but at least we're the best of the second best available.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's been about an hour, so let's do our little closing thing for Mr. Dylan Mulvaney. Now, we'll probably come back later on when some other good stuff happens with Dylan. We'll do a little more research about his family and all this kind of stuff so we can put some real good gossip up there. So if anybody else got any gossip that we didn't mention, just put it down here in the comments because we would love to talk about it.
And can people put in the comments what they think Dylan's next stunt is going to be?
Yes, yes,
Actually, I tell you what would be a really good one. A full apology to all women and transsexuals.
yes, yes. We want that. Yeah. But did you see that little video where he was almost crying, saying that the words were offensive? He actually was saying that. He was actually repeating the words that was in the song as if he didn't even know what he had sung. Obviously, admitting that he did not write the song, that he was
I
just
didn't see
singing the
that.
words. Mhm. It's a video. So it was up on somebody who was doing a reaction video, and they pulled up this clip of him recently, and he was saying that the words were offensive. Yeah, he realized that after he started getting this backlash that it was offensive. So
As
we'll
soon as
do
the
another.
song had finished, I closed. I didn't want to view it for any longer than I had to do for this conversation we're having now.
Yeah. I watched it several times because, like I said, it was entertaining to watch everybody doing what they were doing. But when I listened to the words, that's when I turned it off and couldn't go back because.
After
Mm-mm,
watching it, I felt I need to get the Lysol out. I've been
mm-mm,
infected.
mm-mm. Okay, y'all, we're gonna let y'all go so that this thing can upload and y'all can see it. Thank you, Miss Kelly.
You're
I love you.
welcome.
I love you, girl. And we'll be doing this again. We're gonna do some gossip Sundays. Love
I'm looking
y'all.
forward to the comments. I'm looking forward
Oh,
to the comments.
yeah.
Um,
I gotta figure out how to turn this thing off. Okay.